And I remember thinking, do I pass out? Because that's how I get out of it. Sometimes we don't actually want to be successful because it's more comfortable not having to be. So how much do you really want it? That is my question. Because if you want something bad enough, you'll get it.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm Frank Salem, the CEO of Vital Plus, and with me I've got Fiona, the author for The Forensic Nutritionist and also the creator of the Vital supplements, not skincare, sorry, the supplement products. I have only one question for you today, Fiona. So it's going to be a real quick, short interview, but
I doubt it.
Yeah, that's true. We've talked about this before, and when I heard you talk about it, I was completely, what's the right word? Just inspired. I think really inspired, and it's your thought about the abundance mindset. Can you tell me? Can you share with everyone again what you think about abundance and that sort of mindset?
This is why
especially in a beauty business, say.
This is why it won't be a quick one, Frank.
No, it won't be a quick one. I shouldn't have said that.
Where do we start? Look, I'm all about living your best life and an abundant life. But I think, quite often what we attract into our life is the frequency of what we're resonating. So I'm very much an energetic person. I pick up on energy. I'm very much I sort of look at life as, we have to be on a certain, let me describe that a different way. Think of us all like little radio stations, and we all have a different frequency. So some of us like heavy metal, some of us like classical music, some of us like pop. And when you tune into that frequency, that is what you're hearing and that is what you're seeing. So that abundance mindset, to me, or living a life of abundance, manifestation, whatever you want to call it, is about what radio station you want to tune into. So some people have a mindset of lack, never being good enough. I'll never have that much money. I'll never be able to sell that. Or I'll just buy 3 products and put them on the shelf just in case I can't sell it. They live out of lack and they live out of fear, and they don't have this abundant mindset. Whereas other people are on a different radio station and they're attracting the people in that want to buy the product, and they have, abundance of products on the shelf, and then they will sell an abundance of product. I think if you're someone that will just order a product in when a client, tell me what you want and then I'll place an order, you'll never have a successful clinic because you're coming from a place of lack and fear and not having enough rather than an abundance. I've got more than enough, and there's more than enough people that want my product and I can sell it. Yeah. So I think it's in life, we can either have what I call an abundant mindset, or we can have a mindset of lack. And it's about what frequency we want to tune into. And then everything in your life, you live by that frequency. So if we're coming from lack, you'll always be someone that's worried about money, or not wanting to spend enough, or I'll wait till I've got more money, or I won't put more products on the shelf because, somebody might not buy it. I always remember saying, when I used to teach on sales, I used to say to people, the more product you put on the shelf, the more you will sell, because people walk in and will see an abundance of product and they want to sell more. If you go into a Mecca or a Sephora, there's product everywhere. If you go into a skin clinic and there's 1 or 2 or 3 products on the shelf, clients aren't going to think, wow, this must be a really successful clinic. They sell a lot of product. It's really popular. I want it. They're thinking, well, there's only one. I'll leave that for someone else. Somebody else can have it. It's like, I call it the last cookie on the plate scenario, when, you bring out a platter and it's piled high of cookies, for instance. You might take 1 or 3 or 2. Oh, it looks amazing. But if you just got 1 left on this big platter, you're like, oh, no, I won't. Somebody else can have that. It's like opening a box of chocolates. There's 1 chocolate left.
That's a great analogy. I love that.
But when you open it and there's all these
Yes.
Chocolates.
You're-
What
you're-
shall I have?
you're
And there's so
rich
much
life.
to choose from, and you want them all. But when
Yeah.
there's just one, it's like, oh no, I don't know if I want that one.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in life, So it's all about creating this abundant mindset and a belief, because I think that thoughts are energy. Energy creates a frequency that creates a vibration, and that is what you attract into your life.
Definitely. It's the people that I've met, like you, and other people that I aspire or that I connect with. They have this certainty that they will achieve whatever it is that they are throwing themselves into. So in a beauty salon, they're very certain, like some of the business owners that are doing really well, they know that they will sell these products, they will get new clients, they feel there's this...
It's a clarity.
Yeah.
It's a clarity, and you have to be clear, because it's, if you want to call it God, the universe, there's a saying in the Bible actually, but it's he who wavers gets tossed like a boat in the night, he shall inherit nothing. It's because we don't have this clear direction. Or it's like, if you in the car and you know where you want to go, you're going to get to your destination. But if you don't know where your destination is, you just don't know where you're going to end up, do you? It's the same thing. So once you know what your end goal is and what you want to achieve, don't worry about how you're going to get there, because you'll naturally get there. You just need to focus on what it is you want and what it is you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Ask and it shall be given, but you've got to know what you're asking for. If you don't know what you're asking for, you're never going to get there. It's that simple.
So clarity is such a important aspect of
crystal clear clarity. The
abundance.
clearer you are,
the clearer you are. So would you recommend that someone sort of dishes out a 90-day plan that say, what do I want to achieve in the next 3 months? How do you get clarity?
I think clarity is knowing what you want. So what is it that you want? And then believing you can have it. Because again, he who wavers, the minute you say, I don't know, what about this?
If I can do, if I'm good enough.
Because remember, everything is a vibration. So, or a radio
frequency, right.
So if you're like, I don't know, maybe shouldn't I? That's static interference. So you're never going to get the sound right. So you've got to go, this is 95.8 FM and I'm tuning into it.
Yeah. I want this. I want to achieve this many sales, or I want to get this many new clients.
But the clearer you are, the more likely you're going to get it. So write a goal, but the same thing is that goal's got to be achievable. So if you're like, I'm going to get $1 million by the end of the month, if you don't believe it, you're not going to get it because you're wavering again. You've got to be on the right frequency.
Yes, right.
And it's got to be when you can feel it, you can taste it, you can feel it in the marrow of your bones, so the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, like you can feel this is going to happen. You can feel it, you know it, you're confident. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't worry about the how, but if you can taste it, smell it, feel it, it's already happened. You just got to wait for it to happen.
Yes. I mean, wait in the sense that you now got clarity and you're taking the steps towards getting it happening, right? It's not just...
Yeah, but if you know, like one day I know this is going to happen, I can feel it, you're on the right frequency. But if you're like, I would like this, but I don't know if that's going to happen to me, maybe not, maybe it's not going to happen. Yeah. And I think that's where people get it wrong. They're all about manifestation and writing down your goals and reading it out 3 times or whatever it is.
That's not what you're saying at all.
I'm saying about it's a frequency and it's an energy, and you've got to tune into it, and you've got to let anything else go that gets in the way and causes static interference. So if you only want to tune into classical and you're on the classical channel and you've got all these people that are coming up that are like, no, listen to the pop music, listen to this, listen to that, listen to the heavy metal, they're not on your frequency. So get on the frequency, and it's surrounding yourself with the same people that are on that frequency as well. If you, for instance, want clients that are spending a certain amount, you need to attract those clients in. But if you're wasting your time bending over backwards for clients that just want a $5 manicure and you want to focus on skincare, why are you still offering the manicures?
Yes.
Oh, because I don't want to, I'm
Yes.
worried I'm going to lose the client.
Yes,
Well, you're
yes.
not on the frequency because you
Yes.
don't believe it yet. You're wavering.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree totally. Like, I know that back in the days when I was going to visit salons, and they would be busy doing a wax treatment, and I was thinking, wow, you're a beauty therapist and you're spending an hour doing a wax treatment. I don't know what's going to bring you $40, $50. So sure, your book looks like it's filled out and you've got appointments all day and you're too busy, but you're busy doing a job that's not even going to pay your salary. Yes.
It's a mistake that I think we all make in business, all of us. We start out and it's like, well, who's going to want my services? Who's going to want my products? We'll take whatever we can get.
Yeah.
And that's when it fails because we're not standing strong.
We're not tuned into
we're
that.
We're not tuning in and we're not standing strong. And an example for me, for example, you know, with Vitasol, for instance, I've always been very strong on an opening order.
Yes.
30 products minimum opening order, because whenever we have deviated from that and we go, oh, well, I can't afford it. I just want to have 6 products. I just want to start with this. It's been an absolute disaster because those people don't commit to the product. They don't commit to the training. They're not successful in business because they've got this lack and poverty mindset. They're not about the abundance. Oh, I can't afford it. My answer now is, well, come back when you can afford it.
Yeah.
Because I want to work with successful people that will represent my brand. Yeah. I don't want to work with people that are on the pop music frequency when I want to be on the classical music frequency. Right. Because it's not going to be successful for them either. And I don't want to waste their time either.
For sure. That's really inspiring stuff. Saying no is perhaps just as important as saying yes.
100%. 100%.
Saying no to someone. You know.
It's got to be, when you are clear in your vision and you're moving forward, you're going to have the static interference, because it's almost like we're being tested on how strong we are and how clear we are and how focused we are. And these people will come in and they will test you, and then you go, oh, okay, all right then, or you'll start to waver a little bit. We all do. And you go, well, maybe I'm not going to get there, and how am I going to get there? So you will get tested along the way. And whenever we get deviated, we then start to get the static interference, and then we get more static interference, and we go completely
off a different course. Yes,
absolutely. And then we don't
There's
get there.
no more clarity. There's no more.
And then we wonder how we ended up there. It's because we deviated. So, and now I'm like, if somebody comes to me and said, well, can I just have a small opening order? I'm like, I'm sorry, no, we're not the right brand for you. Because I want you to be successful. And I know you won't be successful if you have a small opening order. You just won't. Because you're not on the right mindset and frequency of success and abundance.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We're just not the right brand for you. But I'm not going to bend who I am and who I stand for someone that's on that different frequency, because they need to work with someone that's, on that frequency.
Yeah. And now you're working with salons that are doing very well, that are accepting those terms and are much more invested.
It's not a problem. Now we have those clinics coming to us. We don't have to go out and get them. They come to us because they're on the right frequency. And that's how it works. You literally are like a satellite. And it starts coming in. A little bit like social media now. What we're speaking, we're creating. And like on social media now, I could be having a conversation with you, my phone's listening, and then all these things will start popping up on my phone, whatever I've been talking about. It's a bit like that in life. What we think, what we speak, we start to create it. So we've got to be very, very clear on what we're saying. I think this whole manifestation thing that's really trending at the moment, people are saying things, but they don't really believe it. And so then they're wondering why it's not working.
Happening. So it's really important to really feel that you can do this. Or
I think so, but it's also actually living feeling it now, rather than going, oh, one day I'm going to be a millionaire. It's like you got to start acting like it now. You've got to start preparing like it now, not like I'm a future millionaire. You've got to start acting and feeling it now. Something I used to do, Dave and I used to do this, was we used to look at houses. and I would test my frequency. So we would go into, I remember going into a house that I thought was massive and huge. And at the time, this was about 15 years ago, it was probably a $4 or $5 million house. And we walked in there, I was like, oh my God, my dream home, who lives in a house like this? This is it, this is what we're aspiring to. But at the time, I was like, oh, I'm not really worthy, I don't deserve a house like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I would test where I was at, and I still do it to this day. And, you sort of go in that house now, and I'm like, that's not good enough. That's a bit grotty. That's not where I want to be. And I'm like, I remember when I was looking at this house thinking, oh, one day, and now I'm like, oh no, no, we could do better than that. It's like, I think you need to test where you're at. And if you're put in a house of a certain value, how do you feel in that? Or if you sit in a certain car, do you feel like that could be your car, or do you feel like that's for someone else but not for you?
You're not good enough yet.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's about also, to me, testing your frequency of where you're at. Are you ordering 30 products? Are you still like, oh, I'll just wait till my client wants it and then I'll place the order? Where are you at? Because there's one thing saying I'm going to be successful and I'm going to reach this goal, but are your actions in alignment with what you're saying you're going to be?
Can you change your frequency?
Totally.
You think? And how would you go about it?
Well, test your frequency,
test
right?
It?
So,
yeah.
So start putting yourself in those situations of what you want to be. And there is a little bit of that saying, fake it till you make it. You've got to live and breathe that life that you want and that abundance that you want, and see how you feel. Because to start with, it will feel very uncomfortable, and then you'll start to feel more comfortable. And I call it leveling up, when you're about to level up, because you start to get really uncomfortable and you start to get all the static interference coming in. All the people start coming in to test you to see if you're, don't go up a level and leave me there, And
yes, the good friends, the parents.
Or you'll get challenged, who do you think you are, or this type of thing. So you've got to be really clear on your vision and stay true to who you are, and be aware of what is around you that might actually be holding you back as well. Because sometimes we're comfortable in situations because of perhaps the way we grew up, or who we surrounded ourselves with, or how we were spoken to as a child. So there's a lot of things that can actually cause blocks to get to the next,
hold you down from you want to climb to the next level. Pulling you down.
But the reality is, absolutely anything is possible. We just have to believe in it. So if you think of, I don't know, whatever it is you want to achieve, somebody else has already achieved it and probably been there. How did they do it? So it's possible. It's not like, oh, it's all right for them. They had this, they had that. They created it. These people have created it.
Nothing to
we
something.
all come from nothing.
Yeah.
Some people do, of course, have a bit more of a helping hand, but we can all make things happen. Sometimes we don't actually want to be successful because it's more comfortable not having to be.
Yeah,
So how much do you really want it? That is my question. Because if you want something bad enough, nothing will stop you.
Definitely. Yeah.
But sometimes it's more comfortable to be not as successful. You think you want it, but then when you've got it, you don't want it. So if you really, really want something, you'll get it.
Yeah. It reminded me of lottery winners who, who were poor and suddenly they have money, and apparently they go back to they lose or they spend and waste all their money.
Yeah, because they're not on that frequency.
That's
so
right.
they don't. There will be some people that can make money and keep money and just keep making more money, and there are other people that just get gifted the money.
Yeah.
They created it and then they'll lose it all because they're not on that frequency.
Yeah.
I always say, if where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll find an excuse. So, I used to be one of those people that I would work 7 days a week. If I had to, I was at uni, I was working 2 jobs. I wasn't just sort of, I'll get a debt and then pay it off later. I didn't want any debt. So I was working. I wanted money at the same time. Whereas other people were going, I can't afford to work. I've got to study, all of this stuff. So where there's a will, there's a way. I would turn up for work. I would early. I would stay late. I would never take a sick day. I think people will put in the extra mile when they want to achieve something, and they will find an excuse. I would always put myself in a really uncomfortable position if I felt it was going to level me up. You know, I remember the first time I went to speak to a large audience, and I remember it was in the Philippines, and I opened the door and it was hundreds of people in this room. There were cameras flashing, there were TV cameras, there were lights everywhere, and I just suddenly shut the door again thinking, oh my God, I've never done this before. They're going to know I'm a fake. They think some big international speaker has arrived and it's just me. And it's just me. And they think I'm someone that I'm not, so that imposter syndrome kicked in.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, I could get out of this right now and I can pass out on the floor. And I remember thinking, do I pass out? Because that's how I get out of it. Or I then thought, these people don't know who I am, because I was associating myself with who I thought I was, insecure or whatever, trying to be something that I wasn't really. And I thought, they don't know who I am. They're expecting this international guest speaker who is confident, and that is who I will be, because they don't know who I am. So it was a case of fake it till you'll make it. So I walked up on the stage. There were cameras flashing, massive audience. And I remember probably for the first few seconds, maybe I was a little shaky. And they all sort of were listening. And I was like, oh my goodness, they're actually listening to me. Well, actually, I'm enjoying this. And then just sort of went with it. And I sort of took on this role or this persona of who I wanted to be, even though I wasn't that person yet. And I remember finishing the speech, and then I remember, I had the microphone on, and I remember running back to the hotel room. They'd put me up in this beautiful 5-star hotel, and I literally jumped on the bed and kicked my legs in the air and thought, oh my God, I've done it. If everyone could see it, I did it. And I was so pleased with myself. And that was a make or break for me, because I knew if I didn't go on stage, I'd lose my job probably. I wouldn't achieve what I wanted to achieve, but I had a choice. We've always got a choice. But for me, I decided, what's the worst thing that can happen? They throw rotten tomatoes at me and I get booed off the stage, but can I live with that? I can live with that. It's worth the punt. And I took the punt and it was fine. So I think you've got to really push yourself, and it's never going to be comfortable. And most of us don't like being uncomfortable. But if you can just push yourself out of your comfort zone, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve.
Yeah. Very true. Thank you for sharing those inspiring words. There you have it. Fake it till you make it. Feel it authentically so that your hairs are...
You've got to feel it. You've got to live and breathe and feel it and believe in yourself.
And you can achieve anything you want. So thank you very much for sharing those inspiring words. I appreciate that. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
See you soon. Thank you.
Visit our website to claim your free trial pack or schedule a consultation or in-salon demonstration.